All right, let's talk about a sneaky little trap our brains set for us. It's a powerful cognitive bias that keeps us stuck. Stuck in jobs we don't like, projects that are failing, and even relationships that have run their course. It costs us a ton, and today we're going to figure out how to break free.
So, have you ever caught yourself thinking something like this? I mean, maybe it wasn't a relationship. Maybe it was a career you spent years training for, or a business idea you poured all your savings into. That one little thought, but I've already put so much in, is one of the most powerful mental anchors we ever face.
So, what is this thing officially? Well, it's called the sunk cost fallacy. And it's our weird tendency to keep going with something, not because it's a good idea for our future, but simply because we've already paid the price of admission. We've poured in time, money, or effort that, let's be honest, we're never getting back.
To put it another way, it's that feeling that you have to keep throwing good money after bad. So in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly why our brains fall for this trick. And more importantly, we're going to arm you with the mental tools you need to finally walk away.
Okay, first things first, if you fall into this trap, you're not weak or foolish. You're just human. This isn't some kind of personal failing or a character flaw. Not at all. It's actually a deeply programmed glitch in our psychological wiring. So let's look at what's really driving it. There are really four main culprits behind this. You've got loss aversion. Our brains are wired to feel the sting of a loss about twice as strongly as the joy of a gain. Then there's cognitive dissonance, that uncomfortable feeling when we think about quitting something we once chose with enthusiasm. Effort justification tricks us into thinking, well, I worked so hard for this, it must be valuable. And finally, there's that simple rule we learned as kids. Don't be wasteful. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Loss aversion is the big one, the main engine. When you think about quitting, your brain doesn't see it as freeing yourself for the future. No, it frames it as confirming a definite, painful, sure loss of everything you've already put in. And our brains will do almost anything to avoid that feeling.
And get this isn't just some abstract theory. They've actually seen this happen in fMRI brain scans. It's like a literal battle inside your head. One part of your brain, the rational calculator, is trying to figure out the best move for your future. But as soon as sunk costs show up, this other part lights up, the part that acts like a strict rule follower. It screams, "Don't be wasteful," so loudly that it can actually drown out the voice of reason. It's fascinating. You know, to really get a handle on this emotional pull, let's use a metaphor. It makes it so much clearer. Just imagine that your investment, all that time, all that energy, is a ship. And it's not just any ship. It's a majestic ship that you built with your own two hands. You spent years on it. Every single plank represents a late night you worked. Every sail is a risk you took. It's your pride and joy. It represents your past. But now you're out on the open ocean and you've hit an iceberg. The ship is taking on water. It is, without a doubt, going down. But the thought of getting in a lifeboat, it feels impossible. Leaving the ship feels like admitting the whole journey was a total waste. It feels like locking in that sure loss that our brains hate so much. And this is the crucial moment of clarity. The rational choice isn't to honor the sinking ship by going down with it. The ship is already gone. The wood, the sails, the time you spent, that's all in the past. The only logical choice, the only one that matters for your survival, is to get in the lifeboat and focus on where you're going next. Okay, so we get it. We understand the trap. The question is, how do we get out? Well, the great news is there are some really concrete mental models, some frameworks you can use to break yourself free. So let's get into them. The fundamental shift, the one change you have to make, is all about perspective. It's about training your brain to stop looking backward at what's already gone. You have to force it to look forward at the future costs and the future benefits of your next decision. And one of the best tools for this comes from Jeff Bezos. He calls it the regret minimization framework. It's incredibly simple but powerful. Just imagine you're 80 years old. You're sitting in a rocking chair, looking back on your life. And from that perspective, you ask yourself one simple question: which choice will I regret less? And here's why that is so brilliant. When you're 80, the pain of those 5 years you wasted in that dead-end job seems tiny, almost insignificant. What seems huge? The regret of missing out on 30 years of a fulfilling career you never pursued. It just shrinks the sunk cost down to nothing and makes the opportunity cost look massive. All right, for our final tool, let's get ruthlessly practical. I'm talking about a visual tool you can literally draw on a piece of paper right now to make a clear, logical, and unsentimental decision about anything you're committed to.
This is your decision matrix. It's simple. You've got two options: stay the course or cut your losses. For each one, you only write down the future costs and the future benefits. What will staying cost you starting today? What will you gain starting today? And that last column is the most important one. It's the sunk costs, the stuff you have to brutally, ruthlessly ignore. It gets zero weight in your final decision. None. So, I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have these tools, what's your sinking ship? What project, what commitment, what situation in your life is no longer worth the price of staying aboard? And what lifeboat is waiting for you?